You know that bright orange sign. For a lot of us, it's practically a landmark. It means tools, lumber, and, let's be honest, a weekend project that's probably waiting for you. But what if I told you that behind that super familiar brand is a story of two guys who had just gotten fired, and over a simple cup of coffee, they sketched out a plan that wouldn't just build a new company, it would completely flip an entire industry on its head.
Yeah, because this is so much more than just a story about a hardware store. We're going to do a deep dive into a business model that was truly revolutionary, a culture that is totally unique, and a legacy that stretches way, way beyond the four walls of any warehouse.
All right, so let's set the scene. It's 1978. Bernie Marcus and Arthur Blank are sitting in a coffee shop in Los Angeles, and they're imagining this brand new kind of store, a place built specifically for the do-it-yourselfer. And believe me, they moved fast. The idea was born in '78. By June of the very next year, 1979, the first two Home Depot stores were already open for business in Atlanta. And just 2 years after that, boom, they were on the NASDAQ, totally ready for some explosive growth.
This is where you can really see just how radical their idea was. I mean, look at this. It wasn't just about building a bigger store with a ton more stuff, though they for sure did that. The real game changer was how they thought about service. Instead of hiring staff who just rang you up, they hired actual experts, plumbers, carpenters, you name it, who could empower you to actually finish your project. It was all about a philosophy of show, not just tell.
Okay, so how did they take this awesome idea and scale it into the absolute giant it is today? Well, it all comes down to a few core philosophies that are just as important to the business now as they were way back then.
First up is something that turns the way we think about business completely upside down, the inverted pyramid. Now, in pretty much every company you can think of, the CEO is at the top of the chart, right? Well, the Home Depot said, nope, let's flip that. The founders were convinced that if you just focus on taking care of your customers and the frontline employees who help them, everything else, the profits, the stock price, all of it, will just naturally take care of itself.
So what does that actually look like in practice? Well, here you go. The customers are at the very top. They're the number one priority. And who supports them directly? The frontline associates in those orange aprons. That means leadership's job isn't to give orders from on high, but to provide support from the bottom up. It's a simple little graphic with a huge message about where the real power in the company is. Now, to make sure this whole thing is stable, they came up with another key model, the three-legged stool. Think about it. A three-legged stool needs perfect balance to work. For them, one leg is that amazing customer experience. The second is being the go-to authority for products. And the third, and this is super important, is smart, efficient use of money. If any one of those legs gets wobbly, the whole thing could fall over.
But you know, a blueprint is just paper without the people to build it, right? All these cool philosophies and frameworks, they only work because of the company's culture. And that culture is all about its people.
So the whole culture is built on these 8 core values. But here's the thing. They're not just some words on a plaque in the break room. No way. They are principles that associates are encouraged to actually live out every single day. And that leads to some absolutely incredible stories.
Take this one, entrepreneurial spirit. Sounds kind of like corporate jargon, right? Well, check this out. After Superstorm Sandy hit, a store associate named Drew Chabot didn't wait for permission. He just took the initiative, designed and sold these Restore the Shore t-shirts, and raised over $500,000 for the cleanup. That's what it means to act like an owner.
Or how about excellent customer service? I love this one. A customer in New Orleans needed a rain canopy for her wheelchair. An associate named Antonio Campbell didn't just point her down an aisle. He literally designed and built a custom solution for her, right there, using parts from the store. I mean, come on, that's just amazing.
And this one, wow. This one really gets to the core of doing the right thing. A self-checkout associate, Gina St. Louis, found a bag someone left behind. Inside, $4,000 in cash. And without even a second thought, she turned it right in so it could get back to its owner. See, these aren't just employees. They are the culture in action.
So it's really no surprise that this commitment to people doesn't just stop at the sliding doors. It extends way out into the community. And a huge part of that is driven by the Home Depot Foundation.
The foundation is incredibly focused. It really hones in on 3 main areas: serving U.S. veterans, jumping in with disaster relief, and training the next generation of skilled workers to help close that labor gap we're always hearing about.
And when we talk about commitment, the scale is just massive. Get this,
By 2030, the Home Depot Foundation has pledged to invest a staggering $750 million in causes that help veterans. Just let that number sink in for a second.
And that's not just some number on a spreadsheet. That money translates into real-world, tangible impact. Since 2011, the foundation and its army of associate volunteers, they call them Team Depot, have improved over 65,000 homes and facilities for our veterans.
And it's not just about long-term projects. When disaster strikes, they are right there on the front lines. In just one recent year, they committed almost $9 million to help communities get ready for, respond to, and recover from natural disasters. A lot of times, the store itself becomes a kind of command center for first responders.
Of course, the company's impact is also woven right into the country's economic fabric. In 2022, for example, it contributed $35 billion to the GDP. But here's the stat that really blew my mind: the ripple effect. For every single job at the Home Depot, more than 4 other jobs are supported somewhere else in the U.S. economy. That's more than double the retail average. It's huge.
So, next time you see that orange apron, remember, it's really more than just a uniform. It's kind of a symbol for this entire ecosystem. It stands for that revolutionary idea of a DIY superstore, for that inverted pyramid that puts people first, and for a deeply rooted commitment to building stronger communities.
Which really brings us to a final big question. Does the whole story of the Home Depot kind of prove that the secret to building a truly great business isn't about having to choose between making a profit and having a purpose, but about having the vision to see that they can be the exact same thing?